It was like a busy Friday or Saturday night. Upstairs packed, downstairs speakeasies packed. And all of a sudden the power is out. And, there's the emergency lights. So there's some lights people can see. And we thought, we're going to be screwed the rest of the night. And people just started cheering and everybody just started buying more drinks. It was kind of fun.
From northern Colorado, right here between the rolling plains and the Rocky Mountains, this is the Greeley Business Beat, your go-to series for conversations with local businesses and the incredible humans behind the scenes that make Greeley, well, great. Join us as we dive into stories of the people and places that make up the very fabric of our community. Whether you're Greeley born and raised or just passing through, we promise to pull back the curtains on some of our favorite community gems and introduce you to the neighbors who make this place special.
Hey there, I'm Rob Steinberg, your guide for today's episode of the Greeley Business Beat, where we explore the amazing local businesses and folks who make Greeley a place worth bragging about. We're headed to downtown Greeley, to a spot where lights go dim, stories come alive, and your drink comes with a side of nostalgia. Today, we're stepping into a place that's part cinema, part lounge, and entirely unlike anything else in town. It's where first dates, friends nights, and cult classics all share the same room, and where movies aren't just watched, they're experienced. So how did this historic space become one of Greeley's most beloved hangouts? Joining us today is Justin Ghofrani from the Kress Cinema. Justin, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
What makes the Kress such a special part of downtown life?
I think the historic building is definitely one of the most captivating things.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about how the Kress came about, because I know that in Greeley, there have been a lot of different places to watch movies, cinemas, and most of them are gone, except for obviously the one on the other side of town whose name we shall not mention, right? So how did you come up with the idea for the Kress downtown?
So wasn't actually my idea. I kind of came in later in the picture, carried the torch, but it was, I think, mainly my mother-in-law. She was really looking for downtown revitalization and also historic preservation. I think those were her two biggest motives. So she sat on the DDA board and wanted to kind of recruit people to open up businesses. And she thought, well, probably the best way to do that would be to start my own business there and try to convince other people. So that was around 2007, the Kress kind of started. It opened up actually in 2008, which is not the greatest time to open up a business. Yeah. And yeah, we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
And something unique about you guys that I've always noticed is that not only do you have the bar upstairs where you can order drinks, have them served to you in your seat, you've changed up the style of the actual cinemas. You've added a second theater as well, which is really cool because I have enjoyed movies in both, but there's also something going on downstairs out of sight, right? That is also associated with the business.
It is. It is. That was 2018 is when we started a little speakeasy down there. We took that over rather and really loved doing high-end drinks there. My whole theory really was, why can't we do New York style, Chicago style drinks in Greeley, Colorado?
Absolutely.
We have the same ingredients that they buy. Buffalo Trace is the same here as it is over there, So we always wanted to just serve quality stuff. And we figured, we can serve high-end drinks in a local town. And that's kind of what our mission was with the Kress and now Speakeasy as well. So,
well, one of the things that you guys are able to do that I've also noticed other places don't is you do show first-run movies.
Yep.
You show a lot of older movies as well, maybe a little bit more along the line of what people might label as artsy films as well. But you also price yourself in a way where it's super affordable to take a family of 4, in my instance, to a movie, right? How do you guys do that? Why do you do that? And what's the inspiration for you to bring more people in?
Yeah, I mean, I think just getting people in the door really is our big idea there. So we really do have best concessions prices in town and $8 movie tickets. And we do have deals as well on movie tickets certain days of the week. So really just getting people in the door, that's kind of been our MO with that, but also just trying to be there for the community instead of just outpricing people or whatnot.
Yeah. So how do you find being a part of the community right there in downtown? How's that shaped who you are as a business owner and how you view going about your daily business? So
the things that we do differently, specific for downtown Greeley and whatnot, I think is just trying to be more involved in the community, being receptive to the things that the community wants as far as, like I think a big one is like events. We've been putting on a lot of events lately instead of just showing like our normal movies. I think what we're finding really is that people want more event oriented things. And we really try to pride ourselves on hospitality and things like that, trying to make it more of an experience than just going out and watching a movie. I was always kind of a little scared to get older movies where people can just watch at home. And I think the more we're realizing is like people want to come out and watch those movies together and talk about it afterwards and things like that.
There's something about seeing a big black and white film on a large screen as opposed to seeing it on like a 48-inch screen where you can just get up and use the restroom in the middle of the movie.
I completely agree. I think bringing the way that the movies were intended back to life, I think is great.
Yeah, well, yeah. And I have been part of quite a few different events, whether I was there, I've hosted trivia in those theaters in the past.
Yeah.
I have actually attended birthday parties. One of my daughters threw a birthday party there, which was super exciting. And it was cool because it not only is it priced fairly, we got to experience the movie that we wanted to watch. It felt like you guys really went out of your way to cater for the family.
That is something that usually shocks people, when I'm like, oh yeah, you could just, hook up your Xbox to our projector. And they're like, what? And we just have an HDMI plug-in and, for private parties, you could pretty much do whatever you want for the most part.
Yeah, for the most part. But that's probably some good advice too, because there probably would be some limitations as to what you can show on the screen there. What are some of the struggles that you've come across while running the business like this?
Are we getting into like COVID and things like that? Or
I mean,
that was a big struggle. I mean, for a movie theater, that was like that was a big one. Yeah. I guess it was a little before my time, but going digital, movie theaters had to go from film to digital around like 2012 or so. So converting into digital projectors was a very costly project, and the community really showed up for that. So that was a big one.
That's right. How did the community show up for that?
We did a Kickstarter campaign.
Okay.
And really it was like a lot of different people, small donations, really gave to that. And we wouldn't be here today if we didn't have that digital projector. So
yeah. Any blooper reels, and no pun intended, I should say, like funny things that have happened while showing movies or while just running the business in general?
Oh, yeah. As far as movies go, I think my biggest one was maybe like showing the incorrect movie for a party where they had guests coming and whatnot, and we played the wrong movie.
Oh.
That was all my fault.
What were you supposed to show, and what did you show?
I can't remember what the
because that's kind of important plot line there,
I forgot, but it was similar. The titles were just somewhat similar. I just can't remember the movie. Oops Moment or something like that. I think a big one for me, we still have like probably half of a case of Jaeger in our basement still, because I was trying to make Jaegeritas a thing. It is actually really good if you've ever had a Jaegerita.
Based off of my past experience with the Jägermeister.
Yeah.
I mean, you've seen me filled up on bourbon. You do not want to see me filled up on Jägermeister.
Maybe I do. I don't know.
I don't know. You're going to have to close the bar and it'll just be you and I having this conversation, but just
great.
over Jaeger.
That sounds great.
What are your top 3 favorite films?
Oh, gosh. I'm the worst person to ask this because honestly, my staff would make fun of me. I barely watch movies.
Okay.
I'm definitely more of the business side of things.
Okay.
Danielle does all of our booking.
Yes.
So
she showed me one time like how she was going through like selecting movies to come up and what it costs. That's kind of an interesting part if you want to talk about how they do that.
Yeah. So the way our movies are booked is our weeks start on Friday. So we will let that weekend go through, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then that Monday we'll kind of make a decision if we haven't already committed with the studio. And then it's just essentially a flat rate versus a percentage amount, Okay. So it depends on how early you're getting the movie, because these studios they'll have a lot of money in advertising and things like that and marketing. So when you get it earlier, as far as like when the movie is released, it's just more expensive versus if you get it, later down the road where they're maybe not marketing the movie anymore, it could be a lower percentage or a lower flat rate.
Because I remember when you guys had the Barbie movie, for example.
Sure.
That was for all intents and purposes, I believe probably a success for you guys.
It killed it.
Yeah, because you had people showing up, dressed up,
Oh my
taking
God, it was
pictures.
phenomenal,
Like,
yeah.
So, and that's something else that you guys do that's a little different than, say, some of the bigger conglomerates, we'll call them, which is really cool, right? Like you guys throw these extra little parties for some
we try
of those.
to. We try to make it more of an experience
Yeah.
as much as we can. We try to do drink specials and things like that. And
Yeah.
dress up. Usually staff will dress up for movies we're passionate about.
What was the last movie that I went and saw there? I think it was whatever the latest Marvel release was. And you guys had a themed drink for the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the staff. We got such a great staff and they're just so involved in the community, which I think is just such a big asset, you know, where your staff loves the city that you're in. So that's kind of been a big thing. And as far as our bar program, they've really just taken it to the next level.
Will you ever look up to see if there's already a drink named after the movie or anything?
Yeah, we try to. Or if there's a drink that like is even somewhat similar, we'll be like, hey, do we have the ingredients to execute this? Which for the most part we do. You know, we've got a full bar with so many
You put
different
enough
things.
bourbon
and-
or vodka and something in, and they all taste the same after like one or two anyway. So,
well, I guess it depends on the bourbon.
okay, that's fair.
No,
That's fair. And do you guys try to emphasize, you know, because we do have some great distilleries and breweries and things like that here in town. Do you make sure that you try to stay loyal to local?
Of course, yeah. When we're redoing menus, we try to do seasonal menus in our speakeasy and things like that. And we just try to incorporate as many ingredients as we can from local vendors. And if we can't get it in just Greeley, we'll try to stick to even just Colorado for the most part. But I mean, you'll always have Weldworks and a Wiley Roots beer on tap. And, you know, we always have 477 bottles behind the bar. And
I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Like you support local, they support you.
for sure.
Has anything ever crazy happened where you had to kind of scamper last minute to get everything right?
Yeah. I mean, projection is chaos sometimes, you know, especially when you're doing like some event and some person brings their laptop in, the event starts in 20 minutes, you can't get the laptop, hooking it up, and you're getting all these dongles, you know, calling local business friends, owners. But I guess a fun kind of thing would be when there was a power outage, you know, it was like a busy Friday or Saturday night, upstairs packed, downstairs, speakeasies packed. And all of a sudden the power is out and, you know, there's the emergency lights. So there's some lights people can see. And we thought, oh, we're going to be screwed the rest of the night. And people just started cheering and everybody just started buying more drinks.
That actually sounds
was
way
kinda
better
fun,
than actually
yeah.
watching a movie.
Yeah,
right?
no,
Like,
that was fun.
did the power come back
So
on?
It did. It did eventually come back on.
Good.
And
Do you have any vision for the Kress moving forward?
I would love to do outdoor series, summer series or something like that. I'd love to.
Like close down 8th or 9th Street, put the big thing up on at the end of the block.
That's
or something.
an idea. Sure.
You
I
know?
kind of envision maybe convincing UNC and Garden Theater to do more, you know, more movies there.
That's right up the street from my house. That would be cool too.
Which
Either way, it's about
they do movies,
equal
right?
distance. Yeah.
But I want to do more.
I do like that though. You know, UNC in coordination with Kress Cinema Productions
Yes,
presents.
I love it.
Yes. I'll send you the invoice for marketing later.
There we go. Sounds good.
Let's do a rapid fire. Cats or dogs, and why?
Cats, because dogs, I just get too attached.
You know what? That's actually fair. Although I have an orange cat at home and I cannot sit down.
We had a black and white cat tuxedo and I loved the cat.
You have kids
Cats
now,
are great.
too.
Yeah. Two kids now. Yes. Yeah.
Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee.
I'll
Are you up
remember that.
late or are you up early?
Both?
Both? Okay.
Both?
You're like me. I wake up at like 6 a.m. and go to bed about 11 or 12 every night.
Yeah. That's about me.
Well, I want to thank you for coming in today.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, it's always great catching up with you when we have a chance. And it's been my favorite part about some of these interviews that I've done is that I get to talk to some of the people that I know, like you in the community. And with that, I would like to thank everyone for listening to this episode of the Greeley Business Beat.
Yes. Thanks for having me.
Like what you're hearing on the Greeley Business Beat? Do us a favor and share this episode. Subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts and be sure to leave a review. We'll be rounding up more businesses and attractions each month. So sit back, tune in, and we'll keep dishing up the stories that make Greeley great. The Greeley Business Beat is a production of the City of Greeley in collaboration with 1K Creative. Greeley is one of the few spots in Colorado that combines the best of everything the state has to offer. Beautiful vistas, deep agricultural roots, easy access to the outdoors, and a vibrant and friendly community. Learn more at visitgreeley.com. Until next time, stay connected to the heart of Greeley.